welcome back to the channel. I'm J and we're locked in. We are back, All-American episode 8, and we got to figure out what the heck is actually going on in Crenshaw. We know that Spencer got in trouble for returning that trophy for the team because he felt like it was the wrong thing to do. Now he's in jeopardy of not being able to graduate and going on to college. But before we jump into this episode, shout out to the notification gang. If you're new to the channel, you want to be a part of it, hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Hit that like button. It's the easiest thing you can do. Now moving forward, that's the big thing we need to worry about. We also know that Jordan, he's potentially going to college also. So some things are looking good. And we have the All-American Homecoming spinoff dropping tonight also. But let's jump into it. This is episode 8 of All-American. We start the episode off with Jordan going to see GW, aka Grandpa Willie. It turned out he had a heart attack, so he has a nursing aide at the house. And of course, Grandpa Willie is upset. He's talking about, Jordan, tell Billy I don't need some random person over here. Just because I had a heart attack, she was changing the settings on my TV. I don't want to watch Spanish. Jordan's looking at him like, hey, Grandpa, you shouldn't be getting that worked up, man. You just had a heart attack. But Grandpa Willie is going to do with GW what he does, complain. You heard me in the intro. The big topic is what's going to happen to Spencer if he gets expelled for stealing this trophy from Beverly Hills. Now, one of his teammates comes over and Spencer tells him, don't worry about it. We good, man. Nothing's going to happen. It's going to all blow over. But the guy's saying, man, Carter's going to expel you if you don't turn in nobody. Now, they're having disagreements about what's going to happen. And you hear Spencer say, it doesn't matter. That diploma, I earned it. And I'm going to get my scholarship. And in 2 days, we're going to be done with all this. But unfortunately for Spencer, it doesn't work that way, brother. You can earn that diploma. But if you get expelled, you don't get it. Young Amina, she gets in the car and she has a black eye. And it turns out people in the streets are telling her that Coop shot her mom. Now, we hear Preach saying you don't need to be listening to the people in the streets. They don't know about what's going on. And I'm thinking, why is anybody in the streets even talking about this to a kid to the point that she's getting in the fight? Like, who in the streets is she talking to? Other kids? Coop shot your mom and they start fighting. But Preach is trying to downplay it and saying that Coop, she didn't shoot your mom. That's your auntie. She wouldn't do that. That's because Preach is the one that shot her. Preach is talking about, now you need to tell me what happened to your eye. He let his daughter say, if you won't tell me your business, I won't tell you mine. Now, I can understand if this is a 25-year-old daughter, 22-year-old daughter, 19-year-old daughter, 18-year-old daughter, but this kid's like 8 or 9 years old. Preach, you shouldn't be letting her talk to you like this. We getting ready for graduation. We got Layla, Simone, and Liv. They dusting off the gowns, making sure there's no lint on it because we got to look good. Now, it turns out Layla's dad wants her to actually try to go to school. Don't take a gap year. You know what I'm saying? I want you to go to college at least. Simone, we already know she's committed. She going to school in the A. Now, Liv, she's in the back. I got accepted into all these colleges, but I don't know which one has the best journalism for me. Now, she doesn't want to go to the same school with Spencer and be one of those girls following after her boyfriend. So what Simone says is, my aunt is coming up here and, you know, she got all the tea. But until then, let's enjoy. So all three of the ladies, they have a bright future ahead of them. They just don't know what they want to do because they have too many options. Principal Carter and the principal from Beverly Hills are the most unprofessional people I know because they're having a conversation about what to do about the millions of damage that happened from the fire alarm going off. Now he's saying we don't want Spencer to go down for this, but if he doesn't turn in somebody, we need someone to blame. Now Spencer, he showed up early for this meeting. He didn't show up with his mom or any adult that could potentially help him out in case that charges are brought up for breaking and entering, damage to property. He didn't do any of this. He went to the gym to work out and he hears them talking and he says, so if I don't turn in nobody, I'm going down by myself. Spencer just put himself between a rock and a hard place. Why would you even have took that trophy back if you didn't have anything to do with it? But they're telling them someone has to go down for this. And Spencer's saying, I can't tell on anybody. Now, I respect him for that. But at the same time, you didn't even need to be in this. Whoever did it, they could have did it themselves. They could have turned it back in. Or the trophy would have just been missing. But you're potentially putting yourself with criminal charges. Spencer looks like he's about to hold it down and not say anything. And he'll get expelled. Now, he'll have the grades and everything, so they'll expel him. He can probably get his diploma in a couple of months. That's if they don't press charges. And then, of course, you got to know if the school's going to withdraw their scholarship. But that's a whole nother thing. He can still graduate. It just won't be with the class. Spencer's being righteous. He says, I know I got a bright future. I know my future is worth it. But so is the other person that did it, even if you don't see it. If I'm the principal, I'm like, Spencer, bro, you're going down for this. There's no way around it. You're potentially going to lose your scholarship and everything. What are you doing? This isn't smart, Spencer. Back at the Baker house, Billy is showing Liv how to two-step. He talking about, go down there. When you get that diploma, girl, you got a two-step down there. You got to show off, girl. She talking about, nah, we ain't doing that. So we having a good old time, and then Grumpy Jordan shows up. Why you got GW down there with random people? Well, that's a nursing aide. That's not a random person. She's qualified, and she was hired to do this. Kids don't really understand how life works until they get hit with it when they become older. Billy doesn't have the time to be with his father 24/7 or however many hours the nursing aide is down there because he had a heart attack. Billy also has to stay here and keep, the lights on at this house. So he's saying, Dad, you need to go see him. You're coming up with excuses. Now, Billy may make up excuses, but what he did do was hire help for his father. So even if he's not seeing him, he has his reasons behind that because, GW doesn't really like who he married. So he has his reasons, but he still didn't leave his dad out there to dry. This whole scene has me a little confused. Grace is on the phone with Principal Carter and she hangs up because Spencer shows up. Dylan asks, are you expelled yet? Because it's crazy, man. You shouldn't have to go through this. Spencer said, no, I'm not. But I'm standing up against the system that forgot it was put in place to protect us whenever we make small mistakes. The only thing is, this wasn't a small mistake. This wasn't cutting the nets down off the basketball goal. This is millions of dollars of damage to a gym. The floor is soaked. Everything is ruined. Now, if you guys had the money to replace it, then okay. But no, this is criminal charges. This isn't a little misdemeanor that you guys did. This is damage of property on school grounds. This isn't nothing small. Dylan's talking about, yeah, man, you teaching me to stand up for what's right. No, this isn't teaching you to stand up for what's right. This needs to be a teaching moment. Don't put your nose in business you have nothing to do with. This was a crime and Spencer placed himself into this crime. There's nothing smart about what just happened here. Now, Grace has a box of the stuff that Corey graduated in, and she's saying she doesn't really understand it. And you can tell that she's heard about Spencer's decision, but he's still your son. He still needs you to consent to anything. You need to take him down there and he needs to tell what he knows. Be a mother, Grace. Don't let Spencer off of this. You talking about his future is so important. His future starts with you. You got to tell Spencer to go down there and tell what he knows. Now, I'm not with all the snitching, but Spencer shouldn't have put himself in this situation and he's potentially ruining his future. But Grace got to do something. You can't just walk off in this type of a situation when you know that your son's whole future is hanging over this incident that he had nothing to do with, but he put himself into it. We know that Asher's been having a hard time and he met a young lady that worked at the little restaurant and she was his prime date because he didn't have one. And now she's trying to encourage him to go to school and she's talking about take out a $200,000 loan and potentially go out there and hope that you can get something. Very bad idea. Don't take out loans you can't afford, people. That's very simple. Don't go into student debt. If you can't afford to pay off that loan, we don't want to hear you complaining about it. Take one class at a time. There's no reason to take out a $100,000 loan and try to go to school. You take out that little $2,000 for that one class, you pay it off, you take the next class. But the guy comes over and he hears Asher talking about it and he has an interest in Asher. Now he says, I'm going to talk to your mom and we're going to see what we can do and I can invest in your dream. Now that's how you do it. I told y'all about Grandpa Willie. He don't really like Billy that much because he married that white woman, but that's Billy's wife, man. You really can't disrespect her like that, GW. But they're over there helping him out and you hear her say, yeah, maybe we can spice up your food a little bit and put some raisins in it. I told you that's that white people shit. Grandpa Willie ain't trying to eat no damn raisins. But he gets up and he tries to pour his water and he had that heart attack. So he's shaking. Billy tries to help him and they actually drop the water all over the table. And he's like, I'm not talking to her. Billy said, you're not going to talk to us like that. Grandpa Willie said, you ain't here to help me. You here for your guilt. Which is really what he's there for, because we heard Jordan call him out for that. He's like, Lord, she can stay. Even though he don't like Lord, she can stay, but you gotta go. Billy gets up. He throws the towel at Grandpa Willie. Come on now. That ain't right. Grandpa Willie can't fight back. You know he just had that heart attack, Billy. But Billy gets up and he leaves. I really can't believe I have to be the one to tell you that. Preach, Patience, and Coop, they're coming together to figure out what to do with Amina because he's never seen her act the way she's acting. She got whooped on at school, and now she's telling Preach, you can't be in my business. So he wants to tell her the truth that he shot her mom. And Coop is saying, why would you do that? I can't even believe you thought of that. That's like killing both of the parents with one bullet. Now, if I'm Coop, you ain't really got nothing to do with it. He is the one that shot her mama. So y'all can just keep it on the low and just say that Coop didn't do it and you don't have to tell her, but it happened. And he's talking about maybe we're underestimating her. Underestimating her? She's 6-7 years old. There's no underestimation here. She's a kid. You tell her what she needs to know. And on top of that, they're having this meeting at the Crenshaw Cafe. Why aren't y'all outside where people can't hear you? Because you're whispering whenever someone comes by. But just like I was explaining, Amina is a kid and Coop explained it using fireworks. Yeah, it's a lot of noise outside, but when you go to sleep and wake up, it's over. Eventually, Amina will stop asking these questions. Spencer's in Coach Baker's office and he's waiting on him. And Spence, he's sitting on the desk looking up at his dad's jersey. Billy comes in and says, you're looking at that. You think that's going to be your last colors wearing? And Spencer's asking him, why aren't you talking me out of stopping my friend from going to jail? Because he'll go back. And Billy says, I lost enough battles today. So Spence starts giving him advice because if you remember, he's seen Corey's body when he passed away. And he's saying that's one of the scariest things that he's experienced. And he's trying to tell Billy that you need to enjoy Grandpa Willie while he's still here because once he's gone, that's really it. So Spencer is actually giving the advice to Billy. We seen Liv. She actually met with Simone's aunt. You know, she was the teacher out at the school. They went out for homecoming and she's seen it. Now, what the aunt is saying, you got all these decisions to make, but why do you want to be a journalist? And Liv says she wants to get the true story out. But what she's saying is how everything is, it's a lot of pressure for journalists. You should probably try to do something else if possible. We know that Asher just got offered to get his school paid for by his mom's fiance, Jacob. Now he's going back and creating all of this nonsense. This man is about to marry your mom and he's willing to pay for you to go to school. Now, if you aren't on any bad terms with him, you got to take this as an opportunity to go for it. But he's saying, you know what? I can't do that. I'm not a charity case. This isn't a charity case. This is a gift from your stepfather to invest in you. Now, he's acting a fool and she's saying you can say thank you for it. He's like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to tell him I don't want the money. Then what are you going to do, Asher? Take out the $200,000 loan? This is just unnecessary. Tell that man thank you and go to the school that you want to. All Jamie did was help Asher out. She gave some suggestions and she said, you should do this, do this. And he went off on her and he talking about, I already dated that girl that's trying to help me out and fix my life. She walks off and I don't blame her. Asher, what are you doing? You're getting ample opportunities to succeed in life and you're ruining it. Layla had the meeting at Coastal California and the musical chair there. He told her that she didn't have the musical knowledge or background and he wanted her to touch bases on that. Now, you know, she's been dealing with this new producer and he's coming in and saying, man, you don't have to do all of that in college. You're doing a good job here. You're great. You got artists wanting to work with you. Now she's hearing all that and she's like, oh no, she's being modest, but you don't need college for everything. A lot of things you can teach yourself. And he's saying, you know what? Meet me at Slauson Cafe tomorrow because there's nowhere else in the city that we can meet up at. Let's go to Slauson Cafe. Everyone meets up at Slauson Cafe because they need to figure out what they're going to do about Spencer. Chris is leading the conversation. Hey, everybody, we doing this for Spence. Let's see what we got to do. JJ, the coolest one out of all of them, talking about, let's go whoop on the principal. That's the quickest thing that we can do. Everybody like, nah, let's not do that. How about we stage a walkout? None of us show up to graduation. Now, let me tell you something. I'm showing up to graduation because I got me a scholarship. I didn't do anything wrong. Why am I doing a walkout for Spencer when this guy against the wall is the one that did it? But everyone's like, all right, let's do that. And they're saying the school's got to listen to us when you do this. No, they're still going to have the graduation. You guys are just going to walk out and who wants to stay will stay there. And a lot of parents will get upset with their students for doing the walkout. Of course, Spencer shows up and he's the Debbie Downer. What is all of this? And he's looking around there saying, hey, man, we sticking up for you. We staging a walkout so you don't get expelled. He's saying, nah, man, y'all supposed to be celebrating. I got this. Even Liv is looking at him. Spencer, this is just silly. I told y'all in my rant that I had earlier that Spencer doesn't need to be hanging out with anybody. You need to just be in the house. But these kids are trying to help you out and you're turning your back on them. The same people that you're supposed to be protecting and helping, they're trying to help you, but you're not allowing them. Although I just disagreed with Asher and what he did with the young lady, I agree with him here. He's like, that's it? We coming up with a plan to help Spencer out and he just tells us no, that's it, and he walks off? Like, come on, man. All of this extra drama that they're doing, Spencer, you need to be sitting down right here. Take Coop out of the equation because Coop isn't in school. Spencer, you need to sit down and listen to what they got going on. Spencer, different. This kid's talking about he gonna admit to it. Spencer saying, man, that's $500,000 in damages, man. They think you're expendable and mine's not. It's not that they think he's expendable. Spencer, if you were the one that actually did it, you'd be in the same situation. They know you didn't do it. You turned the trophy in because you're covering for somebody. There's a huge difference. And Spencer is saying, I'd be damned if I'm going to let somebody go down for this. Spencer, he did the crime. He needs to do the time. Now, if this kid is willing to turn himself in, then you got to let that go, bro. That's just what you got to do. Coop is talking to Spencer about the problems that Preach has with Amina. And I'm thinking, this doesn't have anything to do with you, Coop. This man shot his baby mama, his daughter's mom. Whatever he tells her is between a father and a daughter. You can't do anything. You didn't have anything to do with this. Mo was trying to kill you. Now she's saying, Spencer, are you ready to go in there for your disciplinary action? Because you've carried us the whole time and we're all worried about you not graduating. You graduating is like you walking across this stage for me and Sean. Now Coop, she could have easily went back to school full time and finished those 2 classes so she could be up to date with all of her credits, but she's hanging around at the swing set. She's down at the Slauson Cafe. She's not writing lyrics. She decided not to graduate. Unfortunately for Sean, he was killed. But she's saying everybody is supporting Spencer. Spencer gets to the school and he has to talk to Principal Carter about this. Now, I've never heard these rules where his mother can't be in there, especially for something this big. If he's talking about $500,000 worth of vandalism and damage, then your parents will definitely be present inside of this because you could potentially get arrested for this. And since you're a minor, you will have your parent there or a lawyer in this type of situation. But this is Crenshaw. They do things a little bit differently. Grace just wanted to be here to support her son. Oh no, Spencer, it's no time to be crying now. Get rid of those tears. You volunteered for this. You signed up for this. You put yourself in this situation. You don't want anyone else to go down. There ain't no crying. You better go in there, chin up, and take it. I'm talking about this is all on you. There's no crying now. Because you could have easily removed yourself from this situation. Now, I hope nothing bad happens to him, but there ain't no crying when you stepped up to do this. It's time for Spencer to meet the board. And he goes in there and he's telling them straight up, hey man, y'all supposed to be here lobbying for us. Y'all supposed to be championing us, making sure we're good. But y'all look at the people at Crenshaw as just some of them are good, some of them are bad. And that one little mistake, you guys want to go ahead and get rid of them. This wasn't one little mistake. This was $500,000, more than 99% of the students in this school will ever make in their lifetime. So it isn't a small problem. The guy that actually committed the crime, he walks in and says, I did it. They're like, hey, this is a closed meeting. But in comes Patience, Chris, Coop. I would have said, Coop, you don't even go to the school. So we're definitely going to arrest you for it. We may not be able to suspend all the other students, but Coop, you can go to jail because you aren't a student at this school. And why are you on campus anyway? Now, it's just like the clip in life. I the pappy, I be that baby's daddy. Everybody's coming in saying, hey, I did it. I stole it. So now we don't know who did it. And we can't accuse everybody. We can't suspend the whole senior class, can we? No, they can't. Cool ass JJ comes in and says, I stole the trophy. Beverly Hills' principal said, from your own school? JJ said, you don't know me, sir. You might have heard about me in the streets, but you don't know me. Liv comes up and says, this was all JJ's plan. Spartacus flash mob. They can't suspend you without suspending all of us. Well, I would have looked back there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 23, 24, 25, minus Coop. We got 24 students. We can suspend 24, 12 from each school. That will be easy because we still have at least 120, 130 people graduating. Just when we thought things were about to get better, Principal Carter comes over. And they're like, what happened? Did the flash mob work? They said, unfortunately, no. They were pissed about it. Spencer, you won't be able to walk. You're not going to be able to graduate. All this nonsense. And I told y'all while it was going on, this doesn't look like it's going to work. Because if everyone comes in here, we know for a fact Spencer was here. So it doesn't matter what everyone else is saying. All we know is we got Spencer's phone there and he's admitted to it. So everyone else, they could be admitting to it. It doesn't matter. We got who we want. And Spencer, unfortunately, you can't walk now. Everyone's just righteous. Now, the reason he didn't get suspended is because Principal Carter said, I encourage the students to do a senior prank. So he is now the former principal. He lost his job stepping up for Spencer. He doesn't get to walk, but he's not expelled. So getting a diploma and not walking is still pretty good. But Carter just showed his love for Grace. Now, would I risk my job for this knucklehead? No. I'm just going to be honest. Asher goes and talks to his future step-pops, and he sees what's going on with Spencer, and he goes ahead and accepts that. If the offer still stands, I'll take that money for school. But I'm not going to have you pay for the whole 4 years. Just the first year, maybe 2 years. Now, Jacob is saying, oh, don't worry about it, man. It's all good. And Jamie, she actually likes you. She's never lobbied for anybody to get money before. So now Asher is thinking, damn, I was wrong for talking to Jamie like that, and all she was doing was trying to help. Now, the producer wanted Layla to meet her at the Slauson Cafe. Well, he introduces her to this artist. It's a female artist. She's been doing music since she was like 5 or 10 years old. So Layla is like, man, he said, I told you a lot of people want to work with you. So she's saying, Layla, I love what you're doing in the game. As a woman, as a producer, you need to keep doing it. And I'd like to work with you in the future. She also tells Layla, whoever you were talking to, it sounds like they startled your confidence a little bit. But don't let anyone tell you what you're doing is bad. Continue to do it. And Layla's like, you know what? I'm going to use that in my valedictorian speech. Billy comes over to talk to his father. Now he's like, oh, I don't want to talk to Billy. And Laura's like, just let him talk. And he comes over and he actually explains what's on his heart. He's saying, I'm not going to say I'm here just to help you for your health. I'm doing this for me, the twins, and my wife. We really care for you. You're my last parent. Now, Grandpa Willie, he understands this. And at the end of the day, it is his son. So he's saying, I understand that. But you're not going to be cutting my food up, Billy. He's like, all right, I know. Laura do it. But at least they're getting past this point. Especially when you start getting up in that age, you need to start appreciating your loved ones. Because they could be here today and gone tomorrow. Coop goes over to talk to Amina. And she's saying, if this is the part where you say you're on my side and you apologize for everything, I don't want to hear it. And Coop says, I got to tell you the truth. The moment Mo died, your mom died, you weren't a little girl anymore. And I'm going to tell you the truth. If you want to hate somebody, hate me. I killed Mo. Now, Amina's like, my dad told me something else. She's saying, no, I did it. Amina gets up and says, I don't ever want to see or hear from you again. And then she runs off like our boy did when Debo snatched his chain. She gonna cry when she get in that car. Liv was talking to Simone's aunt about, going to the schools and journalism just being a lot of toddlers tweeting. Well, Liv said, to hell with that. I'm not letting anyone tell me what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. But it turns out the whole time she was really just getting tested, because that's exactly what she was explaining to her. When you come out with these stories, people are going to be on you. There's going to be hecklers. Your story's going to come out. There's going to be bad comments on it. So all she was seeing was, could you get through that pressure? And this was on a minuscule level. So once you become that big journalist, then it's going to be more scrutiny, but you pass with flying colors. They had their graduation, and guess what? They even surprised Spencer with his graduation. They had it out on the beach. People from Beverly, people from Crenshaw, because you remember he couldn't walk. He got the diploma though. So they had it out here on the beach. This is good, man. Congrats, Spencer. You got that diploma. That's the most important thing. All right. Who gave Coop a gown? She ain't even got no hat on. She ain't got the cap and gown. She just got the gown on because she is not a student. Someone take that off of her. Everybody meets up on the beach. We got a campfire because we about to all go our separate ways. Liv's about to go to school with Spence. And they talking about we ain't going to ever break up. We the best friends forever. And you hear Spence say, to new beginnings. There you go, episode 8 of All American. Let me know what you guys think about it. There was a lot of unnecessary drama Spencer put himself and all of his friends and family through, but they made it through. Let me know what you guys think about this. And is Liv going to school with Spencer a good idea? I'm J. Let me know what you think. If you like the content on the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.